So I would recommend the Aqua-Eye because I think it's going to be a game changer for water rescue. I believe that the Aqua-Eye is going to allow us to do a quick scan of the area, find a victim, and retrieve them and perform life safety measures. Hi, my name is Eric Camel, and I am the fire chief for the Chesterton Fire Department here in Indiana. I was originally introduced to Aqua-Eye a couple months ago, just as I was doing some searches and was interested in finding out more about it, and that's how we got through this process. So Chesterton, Indiana is located right at the bottom of Lake Michigan. We are between Chicago and the Michigan state line. We have a major interstate that runs through. Like I said, we have Lake Michigan right here, and then we have some local lakes, ponds, streams that go through the area as well. Well, I think the most important thing for a water rescue or recovery for us is to find the victim and an attempt to get them out of the water as soon as possible in order to start life-saving measures on that victim. Aqua-Eye is going to help us address that by having a fast, quick scan that'll be able to be done by many of our personnel that might not be divers, so that when our divers are geared up, that they'll be able to go into the water and retrieve the victim quickly. And so what we've seen just by having the Aqua-Eye out with training is that you're able to identify the victim within a first minute or two, especially if you have a known location where they were prior to on our arrival. So when we arrive on scene, our goal is to have the Aqua-Eye in the water scanning while our divers are getting ready to deploy into the water. We do have the National Lakeshore right near us, and they do have lifeguards. So if possible, we'll get an Aqua-Eye scan, and then we could send a lifeguard into where we perceive there to be a victim at. But it all depends on where we're at and the situation, obviously. One of the other reasons that this interests me is that we had a not too far from here, maybe 15 miles away, there was an autistic child that got out of a hotel room and he went over to the water, which I don't know if you're familiar with autism at all, but they're attracted to water typically. And so he ended up in the water and he drowned. And the search for him went on for almost 2 weeks. And they had a pretty good guess of where he went into the water, but couldn't locate him. This was obviously before we had the Aqua-Eye. This was earlier this summer. And I think that he ended up surfacing maybe 60 yards from where they thought he went into the water. And so it's just one of those where you figure that if you had a good guess of where he went in, you should be able to scan the river, because the river was only maybe 75 feet wide. It's not like a huge river, but the visibility in the river was right in front of your face. You couldn't see. But with a tool like this, I think that obviously you'd be able to find them a little bit quicker than that, I would hope. A lot of times, we'll have a victim and they'll know that they went in the water right here, but they won't be able to find them because we have just crappy water, murky, cloudy, visibility's bad. And so they'll wait, they'll try to search an area on the traditional search patterns and they might not find anybody, and it might go a week or longer, 10 days, until they'll surface, when they'll just finally float up. And that's a long time, and that's a lot of man hours. So we see that, this being a good tool to go ahead and get into the water and get the search done relatively quick and try to find somebody, in a timely fashion. I believe that Aqua-Eye will increase our team's safety just on the sheer fact that I can always identify where I have a diver at, and if they're going towards a victim, where the victim's at, and I can see where my diver is. I can see them move in the water just by repeating the scan. When you take it from a long range to a medium range or to a short range, you can really see the difference between where your diver is and where your victim is, and where they're, where you need them to go. And so I think it's going to increase safety without a doubt, because we'll be able to see where they're at. And if they get hung up on something, we'll be able to locate their exact location as well. Because the last thing we want to do is have one of ours get injured or hurt or have a fatality while they're trying to rescue somebody else. The Aqua-Eye learning process has been relatively easy. I don't know how other to explain it than you take it, you squeeze the trigger, and you scan slowly. Once you get through your scan, the X's show up on your screen, identify potential search areas or victims in the water. So it's been relatively easy. We've had most of our department has had the Aqua in their hands and have learned how to operate it, and then how to guide a rescuer to the location of the victim, which is also easy because you can do multiple scans throughout the time while you're having a rescuer go out to them. This could just be a sonar, right? But because it has the intelligence in it that the screen tells you where the X is and where the potential targets are, that's what makes the value of it. Anybody could have come out with a handheld sonar. That's not saying, that's not much, because most people can't interpret them. So the fact that somebody did all the research and put the time in and continue to put the time in to develop that, that's going to make that program more and more valuable. Yeah, so I would recommend the Aqua to other departments that are thinking about it. While we haven't had an opportunity to use it in a live rescue situation, we've had the opportunity to go out and practice with it and to try it out. And I see that it's another tool that we're going to use that has the potential to save somebody's life. And if we save one life by using this tool, its value is more than whatever the price tag is. So I think that Aqua is going to be a great resource. It's going to be a game changer in how we do water rescues, especially in our area. The traditional ways of doing a search pattern where you go left to right, back and forth, 2 feet out at a time, takes so much time and energy and man hours, and sometimes you don't come up with the results. Whereas if we can use an Aqua and we can go out and we can hit a scan and we can get 150 feet out from where the last known location was, we'll be able to find that victim a lot quicker, send our rescuers to them, get them out of the water in maybe a reasonable time fashion where we can get them on shore and start resuscitative efforts to save a life.